Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. We're live. And no one's on yet, so we don't have to introduce anything necessarily. But as I talk to you guys, Bryan, about this is our little, I don't know, Zoe and I decided to create this so we can try to give back and just help everyone grow their businesses, and really laser focus on lead generation, lenders and realtors. I mean, if you strip everything back and say, what's your business about? It's obviously about lead generation, right? So, just trying to figure out what people who are out there being successful, what they're doing, what's working, what's not, and try to glean some information from each other and try to grow our businesses that way. So, every time we do this so far, we've had some incredible gold nuggets from people, like stuff you never even heard of before.
Okay.
And not to put pressure on you guys, and you have to give us some crazy, like, mind-boggling thing, but that's usually what seems to come out of it, is there's something just really cool that someone's doing. So
Right.
Anyway, we can jump into it. You guys feel free to just, there's no scripting here. Zoe, is there anything you want to touch on before we start asking them questions?
This whole Facebook Live thing, this is like the second time we've done this, so I'm actually trying to post something on our Realtor Lender Mastermind to let everybody know we're on right now. Jay, have you already done that?
Nope.
Okay. Well, y'all, once we get rolling here, Joe, you start asking the first questions, I'll post something on there. So that's why I got my. I'll also take notes sometimes too, because these conversations we get a lot of great nuggets. So you ever see us looking down and playing around stuff, it's because we're trying to take from you guys. So
no worries.
If I'm looking this way, it's because my kids are out there, and I'm trying to communicate with them to calm down, go over there, something like that. So if I'm looking here, I'm focused.
That reminds me, before you start, Jay, that reminds me that the one question that we always ask when we first get started is, who do you think is the older brother?
Well, he already said that you were the older brother, so.
Oh, he did. He threw that in there.
I screwed it up. What'd you have said?
Yeah, what would you have said if you didn't say that? What would you have guessed?
I don't know.
I think I Facebook stalked you a little bit, so I think I already knew.
Oh, okay. Well,
appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
Well, and we went, we both went to high school with Jay's wife, so we kind of so we know her age, so it would assume you're close to our age. I don't know, but I've never met you, Zoe, so I can't speak for that, I guess. So, but
that's it.
Zoe is older by a few years, but for some reason, everyone thinks I'm older usually.
Yeah.
So I screwed that up. I should have done that right. Because we probably would have got another, huh?
No, I was just saying, I was just adding to that every time. Yeah. I think we have somebody that makes fun of us with this stuff, and he just puts #genetics. So that's what I put on myself. I'll just say #genetics.
Well, Jay does have triplets.
That's true.
Which obviously implies wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It implies aging as well.
Yeah. Once my hair starts getting gray, then everyone will know.
Look at this.
But no,
I'm only 36, man.
Right. Hey, you know who Ryan Serhant is, or Ryan Serhant from New York? He's like the #1 realtor in New York or something.
No,
he's on that. He's on that $1 Million Listing New York show on Bravo. Yeah. He's got like white hair.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like our age, I think.
Really?
Yeah. So is that natural for some people?
I don't know.
It is. Scottish and Irish background are white and gray.
I started seeing gray hairs at 30. So
Gotcha. Do you have a Scottish or Irish background?
I'm my mom was actually born in Scotland. Awesome. So, and I've got, it's both sides of my family trace back to Scotland, Ireland.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. So what our viewers didn't know is that this is actually going to be a history lesson for everybody. And we're not going to talk about real estate at all. So let's keep going down. So let's go ahead and get started. I just wanted you guys to kind of open it up and kind of fill in the gaps a little bit. And I know Erica's been doing this for what, 6 or 7 years now, and my wife always would see Erika Staggs, signs all over town up here. Erika and Bryan live in our old neighborhood, so we were literally neighbors here a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
But so kind of fill in the gaps. Tell us how you got started, Erika, Bryan, how you got going into it, and how you guys have structured your team. Go for it.
So I worked at First Bank for 10 years, and I didn't see my career going any further than where I was at, and I needed a change. So I up and quit my job, and I had already bought and sold. I was into my second house, and we had a good family friend in real estate who helped me buy my second house and sell my first one. And my dad had just said, you love real estate, like you loved the process. You already know the financial background. Why don't you sit down and interview her and, go from there? So I did. And my job, went straight into school, got everything done, took my test, everything was licensed within a month and a half, and just hit the ground running. This is my 5th year doing it. My first year I closed 9 deals, second 21, third 14 because I had a baby. And then last year we killed it with 31, and I'm already at 8 this year, and Bryan has 1.
Yeah.
More to come. We have a ton in our pipeline, but
love it.
I just started coaching. So it's funny that we're talking about nuggets and stuff, because this morning we went over where all of my business comes from, and in my pipeline, my closed deals and everything. And he was quite surprised at how high my numbers are in my sphere, in my referral. That's the vast majority of my business is all referrals. People from 3rd grade, 1st and 3rd grade, come out of the woodwork just because they see me on social, and know me. Even though I was only 11 at the time, they remember me, and so it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
that they reach out to me. But that is definitely where my focus is staying in contact with people and keeping in front of everyone's face in my sphere and collecting referrals. But
love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And are you guys officially a brokerage team, or?
We are so Co-Listings is our brokerage. And then Bryan and I are on the key team. Okay. And so the key team consists of us and then 3 other women on the team. So we just help each other out with events, open houses, staging, cleaning, whatever, showing. We're out of town this weekend, and so 2 of our team members are helping us do showings this weekend. It's structured like that. We're all individual, but we're just there because we all have families, and so gotcha. We're just here to support one another. And then Bryan and I are still figuring out what our structure is best as. He has his own people, I have my own people, but you still get both of us where we can help each other on all deals.
Gotcha.
That's really cool. So I love that the majority of your business is from referrals. And it seems like the more we have these conversations, Jay, you can correct me if you feel like I'm wrong about this, but I feel like the majority of the conversations that we have, it seems like referrals is the best source. Like it's the best source of business. It seems like it's the most rewarding. It seems like there's some kind of residual effect of referrals. Can you talk about what it is that you've been doing over the years, or maybe staying consistent to stay in front of people to kind of generate that referral business? Do you ask a lot of people for referrals? Do you just kind of, how does that actually come about?
I think a lot of it is just building relationships relationships with these people, you know, in a positive way. And, you know, even just like posting stuff on social media, people see that and they're like, oh, they think about it. Like, for instance, I just got a listing last night off of a referral from a friend on Facebook. You know, like, oh, I know this person, you know, they're in real estate. Here's their number. Give them a call. Right. So it's like just putting yourself out there, not necessarily asking for anything, but just, you know, every once in a while putting stuff out there so people see it, you know, and then building those relationships is helpful. So, because if you, I mean, if you do a good job for someone, they're going to be like, oh, they were awesome for me. Here, let's see if they can help you.
Right.
I do ask people for referrals. When I'm working with them during the process and stuff, I'll say, yeah, you know, if you know anybody, ideally it's 3 times. I think it's 3 that, you know, like you start the transaction, you say, hey, if you know anybody looking to buy or sell, you know, give them my name or whatever. And then halfway through, and then I ask again at closing when I'm doing my best. I like to send out messages for happy birthday. I really try to make sure I have everybody's birthdays in my phones. Anniversary cards for their home anniversary every year, even their personal relationship anniversary. If they have a baby, I send a gift. I try to really pay attention to that stuff, and make it about, you know, them, and not me, you know, like, hey, I'm in real estate, but like reach out, check on people, see how they're doing, and watch Facebook, Instagram, you know, and see what kind of factors are happening in their life that I could comment on or be of assistance. A lot of people reach out to me for vendors, referrals for vendors, and us being natives, it's helpful that way as well, because they're like, I'm sure you know people, and yes, we know everybody in every category, and if we don't, we will find somebody who knows 5 people. Don't worry about it, we got you. So I like to talk about, make sure people know that I'm the resource for everything.
Gotcha.
So that's always, you know, you want to touch your sphere, I think 36 times a year, which is really hard. But that's, you know, follow-up is important. So pop bys we'll drop off little random gifts. We got a Top Golf membership, taking people to Top Golf, take them out to dinner.
So we'll have to set something up, guys.
Yeah. We can do that.
Even though Jay and I both suck at golf, it's kind of sad.
Getting better. It's still fun. Yeah,
yes. I love the idea.
You don't play golf. You play the what is it?
The Angry Birds game.
Oh yeah. I've done that.
I
For
kill
everyone
it
who doesn't
at
actually play,
Yeah.
I love it. Top Golf set it up well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try to do events. Bryan had a coming out party for real estate at the beginning of the year, which was a good.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, I have to. It's funny. It was a good way to get out there and get his. But he's also posting all the time on Instagram and Facebook with, like, you know, at the gym. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah.
He has quite the following. So.
Yep.
Nice.
I've been seeing that. I've been seeing it. No, that's awesome. So I want to backtrack to something you said earlier. You said you started out first year 9 closings, then 21, then 14, then 30. I want to. That's incredible, by the way. I want to kind of find out, how did you, like, 9 transactions in your first year is difficult, because I mean, you're just now getting getting into the game, like most of your time is probably spent just letting everyone know that, hey, I'm in real estate. I'm here to stay. I'm not just popping in and trying this out. This is my new career and I'm doing this. And then that's like, you know, your first probably 2 or 3 months of that year is probably just letting everyone know, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like there's
That's
like
what I'm
not as
going
much
through right now.
yeah. So it's like, how did you, so I want to kind of start there, Erika. How did you end up closing that many in your first year? Like what did you do in terms of hustle just to get those deals done?
I while I was in school, I actually started this. I literally Facebook messaged and emailed and texted every single contact I could get my hands on, and told them, hey, I left the bank and I am getting into real estate. I'm updating my CRM, you know, or my client database, whatever, however I worded it. It'd be very helpful if I could have your name, phone number, and not name, email, address, phone number, address, to update my database. And you know, there wasn't a ton of people. There's probably about a quarter, you know, but that started something. And then for a minute there, I was at new builds a couple times a week, and I would walk through new builds and I would do Facebook Live. So I was trying to do videos like, hey, I'm showing this house right now. Or I would just set showing and go learn about different areas. But my very first deal my very first two deals actually were referrals from my parents. One of them, they did know me, so that was easy for them to work with me. I work with them at the bank. And then my second deal was a gorgeous house across the street from my parents' house. So that was helpful. And when I had that one, you know, open house, I just blasted that one everywhere. And then I got everybody's address in the neighborhood from my title company, and I did a handwritten CMA for every house in that neighborhood and hand delivered them. Wow. I didn't get anybody from that. I still have one that I still stay in touch with, you know, but that wasn't really that beneficial to me. But I mean, it was very good practice.
And you got your face out there to everyone.
Yes.
In the neighborhood.
Yeah. And then my other, like, literally like a guy that I worked with at First Bank who left and went to another company, lender, referred two more people to me because I helped train him as a loan officer. So it really, like going to lunch and coffee with literally everybody. And it was great too, because you go from working, like getting there at 8:30 in the morning and leaving at 6:30 at night, and you're exhausted. Like now you can go to the gym. Hey, you can go to breakfast with people, you know, like you can go do brunch, like fill your schedule. And that's what I did.
Yeah. I love that.
That's so cool because a lot of times, you know, when people first start in the business, it feels like they have to just, you know, have a certain strategy or, you know, be really pinpointed on one thing. But the things that you just talked about, it's just kind of, Jay actually uses this word all the time. It's just massive imperfect action. You know, you talked about, you had a CMA and you're like, yeah, that may have not been that productive, but it actually forced you to have some experience with it. It forced you to, you know, work out different things. But just that element of trying out all these different things. I mean, when you're brand new, you don't have anything in the pipeline, you want to fill your time up with stuff. And what a better way to do that than just to meet with as many people as you can. Can you talk about, and Bryan, maybe this is some of the stuff that you're having to go through, you know, being newer, but can you talk about some of those specific action activities as far as just ideas of, for those that are new in the business, like what's the mentality behind that? Like, what are you trying to just kind of remind yourself of, because sometimes it's discouraging when you look at your pipeline, it's like, oh, I got nothing there. But you got to have a long-term vision, like that, hey, this is a career that I'm building. This is not just a one-time thing. Like, talk about the mentality that you guys try to implement when you're doing that.
Hustle. you gotta be aggressive, right? You can't wait for things to come. You've got to go out and find people. You may reach out to 1,000 people and get 10, but you've got to try, and then you got to go for another 1,000 people, but you just got to keep going, keep hustling.
Yep. And I think a big part of it too, just to buttress what Bryan was saying, is like the mindset of not necessarily saying, I'm trying to find a deal right now, like to pay the bills like this month. Like, probably need to switch, especially newer folks, probably need to switch that mindset to like a longer game and say, I'm trying to build relationships, trying to make friends, and trying to just find people who would say, yeah, I would, use you, or, check with you as an option even the next time I need to sell or buy. And that's really all you want. And then as long as you can get their contact information and their consent to, can I keep in touch with you? That's a win in my book, because, those people can be high probability clients later, as long as I stay in front of them and they remember that, Jay does mortgage. So like not having such a tight mindset of I got to find a deal right now, or I'm going to whatever. Kind of pushing that.
You're building stuff for the future. It's not a right now kind of thing. You're building for the future.
Talk about how powerful social media is right now.
It's huge.
And then talk about likes and engagement. I just want to see what you guys think about that.
Did you just see the post that I did?
What was
song on your 21st birthday?
The #1 song on your 21st birthday?
120 something comments.
Holy moly.
Yeah. I am really bad at I'm trying to get better about that, but you need comments to keep your algorithm, to keep you in the algorithm, and videos get more eyes on them than just single photos. Stories has been getting a lot of activity, and I'm trying to be better about Snapchat. I do get quite a few people on Snapchat that watch, but those are my Instagram and Facebook, and Snapchat are the only ones that I really mess with. I'm on LinkedIn too, but
once you get past like 3 social media platforms, it's kind of hard to keep track of them all.
Right. I feel like LinkedIn's pretty cold for some reason. Like I'll message people and I'll message like 100 people over like a week or two and no one responds. Like it's just
LinkedIn's kind of like business only. It feels like it's not as much family and much friend oriented, even though you have friends on there. But
it's funny, Erika, you talked about the algorithm. I just want to encourage anyone who's watching who gets like 1 or 2 likes on their posts, because it might not necessarily mean that literally like 1,000 people saw it but no one liked it. It might mean that no one saw it. Because what Erika's saying about the algorithm is real. Like there's something, I don't understand it that well. Seems like Erika gets it pretty good, but
they have classes on it.
Oh wow.
There's classes that you can take, and I took one a couple years ago. That's why I know. We have to throw Mackenzie in there, our daughter. That she gets a lot of likes. She gets a lot of eyes, comments, whatever. And so if you're all business, if you're all just, information, you're going to just get kicked out. But if you can be like, hey, look at my beautiful triplets. Like everyone's like, oh, look at all the triplets. Or when you were doing your stories showing your updated granite and stuff in your kitchen, I think you got a lot of eyes on that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to constantly work at it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how it all works.
Yeah.
But talk about how, because you said you get leads from Snapchat, or is it quantifiable, or is it more of a branding thing for you guys? Like some people actually try to structure their social media as like a lead generation thing, where others just more so just want to constantly be in front of people, and then like indirectly it probably helps the business. How does it work for you guys?
I like to show off, I guess. So I like to being out there in front of people, and having people just see me, like my life, what I do, and then oh, guess what? I'm in real estate too. I can help you there. So
yeah, whatever you're doing, it is more indirect. So it's just helping my sphere remember me and keeping me top of mind. So I try to not blow everybody up with I'm in real estate, I'm in real estate, I'm in real estate. It's, one every few posts or whatever, like, hey, I sold another house, but I need to make sure that I'm including the family because they're genuinely interested in what we're doing. So I think last year I had one closing from online lead generation. And our team does participate in Zillow. So we are premier agents. And I got 8 closings from Zillow. So that was a good year. This year is not going very well with Zillow because there's no inventory and they only give buy leads. So it's suffering this year. But yeah, my online lead source was not huge. Either farming, I had 1 or 2, and open houses, I have 1 or 2. Everyone else is a referral, a past client, or directly like a friend and sphere.
So I just checked out your page, Erika.
Yeah, friend request accepted.
Yeah, that was really fast. Thank you. I gotta ask. It says you're an elephant enthusiast.
Oh, I love elephants.
Like, where does your
yes.
Oh,
wow.
So serious. Tell me about that. Where does your elephant enthusiast come from? And then do you ever have anyone ask you about that when people check out your Facebook page?
No, you're the first person who's ever said that. But the majority, like a lot of people who know me know that when I was 6, we studied Africa, and I don't know, I learned that elephants are the only other mammal that cry tears from sadness or joy.
Interesting.
They have real emotion and express it in that way. And so for whatever reason that stuck with me, and I just have loved them forever. And I also decided I'm adopting a baby from Africa when I was 6. Those 2 things went hand in hand. And I just said it from until now. I'm still working at that goal. But yeah, I don't know why that just was there, and it didn't ever go away. I love them.
So I've learned something new every day. I had no idea that elephants could actually shed tears. That's incredible. So let me segue the family piece a little bit, because you talked about, it's really cool that you have a goal to adopt one day. And obviously, our family's Nigerian, so that touches me right here. Africa's at the heart of our heritage. But talk about just the family dynamic and kind of, you all are both in the industry together. What does that look like as far as just the dynamic of you two working together, working as, kind of individual production? If somebody reaches out to you as a couple, who takes on what? Just curious for those that are out there that kind of have the, husband-wife dynamic. Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
And the competition between you two. There has to be some.
Yeah, friendly competition, I'm sure.
I think we're still trying to figure out the dynamic a little bit just because it's so new, working together. But I mean, it's going okay so far.
Yeah,
we've had a few hiccups.
We need to you always need to keep the communication open, and things are not set in stone. Be willing to adjust and grow and change as necessary. In our experience, I've already got my business. I've already got things going. So it's just a plus that I can say, hey, my husband, this morning I couldn't make my showing, so my husband did it for me. Because he's on the contracts, we're joint on the contracts, so that's helpful. Did they freeze?
No.
Can you see me?
Oh, Jay froze.
Yeah, looks like.
Oh, yeah, you're back. Sorry. That's all right.
But Bryan's, all his leads who have come have been for Bryan. And anybody who's reached out have reached out, to me. We haven't had people say, I want, specifically. So, but I've been there for him on his listing appointments to help mentor and help be a backup and be there for him to learn. In our neighborhood specifically, we'll be using the signs that have both of our faces on them, because we both live there. But when I have down south, I might just throw, me on there. But Brighton and will grow together. So, but we're still learning, keeping it open, listening to other ideas and addressing things as they come.
And figuring out how, the best way we work together. So, because she's done it one way for the last 5 years, and I'm just getting started. So we got to figure out, just get meshed.
Yeah, and he's much more analytical and hold on, I need to process and do this step. And I'm like, oh, for goodness sakes, I'm already over here,
I love it. Tell me real quick, and this may be a question for Erika. Well, for you too, Bryan, because you're going to need to do this too. Erika, you started out with 9 the first year, then 21. If you're focusing on your sphere, right? How do you scale that? Like, how do you go from doing 9 to 21, and then minus the baby year, but then to 30, and then like what are you doing on a daily basis with your sphere to where all of a sudden you got more deals this year than last year? Like, how do you scale that?
I'm friends with everybody. So I'm constantly talking to people and constantly reaching out. And trying to keep my friendships growing and my relationships, taking care of them. A big thing in my second year was I don't see other agents as my competition. So a lot of agents I make friends with too. So I had one agent in my office who was getting a lot of Zillow leads that he couldn't do all of them. And so he would throw me here and there. And that was very helpful, for a referral, obviously. And there was actually a few more just from being helpful in the office and on Facebook pages. If anybody needed an open house, I did it. If anybody needed help showing a house, wherever it was, I went and did it. So that they would refer. I had one that she didn't want to drive north. And so she was like, I'll split this deal with you 50-50. I'll do the contracts, you do the showings. And I was like, okay. So I feel like we all need to work together. him and I are very different. You know, so somebody who might get along better with Bryan won't want to work with somebody with my personality. You know, you need to be with somebody you know, like, trust. And I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. So that was one of the big things. And for my second year, was just fully immersing myself into the business and doing whatever I could to constantly be in it. I also took a lot of classes. I signed up for everything. I have CE credits for 10 years probably, that I don't even need, but just was learning everything that I could learn. Ninja installation up in Fort Collins with Larry Kendall was a huge help my first year. And I still to this day write out my affirmations, reading, you know, the self-help books and stuff like that. Just these are all little things that were very helpful. But I tried everything, and things that were working I went with, and things that weren't. I volunteer in the community a lot. I did that before too. Got my face out there. And again, then you can put yourself on social media that you're giving away Easter baskets, you know, or whatever else I was.
Yeah.
COVID kind of screwed things up. Actually, COVID was my best year because people were sitting around staring at their walls, and they're like, I don't want to live here anymore. And because of my probably because of having a baby, I don't know, everybody and their mom was calling me. Like, you know, it worked out. And I didn't get scared. I stayed in front of people. Kept going out there. Last year I didn't live in fear. I used it and amped up my business, used my time wisely.
Okay. So I just need to talk to Ash about having another baby then.
Yes, that's exactly what you need.
Totally. Can you guys hear that, by the way? Is it loud?
A little bit. No,
okay.
No. It's all right.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Ash is out there. Yeah. My wife's out there being a rock star right now.
Is she?
And I'm just trying to see if she's gonna give me the look. I'm supposed to come out and help her. But on that note, and Bryan, I want to hear from you on this too. How do you there's 50,000 agents in Denver, right?
60.
And 60?
Oh, in Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And me and Zoe were just talking about this yesterday, actually, because I didn't know. Apparently, it's 168 hours now to get your license, and I feel like they might have recently changed that because there's so many people applying. I don't know. When Zoe's wife and our mom got their licenses, it definitely wasn't 168 hours. So anyway, but my point is, with so many agents out there, and then you have the Redfins and the Zillows and some of these newer like startups that are trying to take business away from you guys.
Yeah.
How the heck do you differentiate yourself?
Well, you be yourself, be honest, be honest with people, and, explain to them the services that you provide, with us, yeah, you may pay a few more, in percentage. You're moving. You're good.
Okay. Everyone was frozen but me for a second. All right, go ahead.
But in what was I saying?
Our customer service is on point.
Yes.
You're not going to get that.
Yeah, you're not going to get that with the Redfins, and there's I don't know how many agents work for them on one deal, but we've got people on our team that do staging and cleaning and everything, that our services that we provide are second to none when it comes to other agencies like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So with differentiating yourselves like that, I'm curious kind of what you guys' internal setup is when you talk about goals. Like, was there a plan when you did, Erika, when you did 31 last year or whatever, was that a goal that you had? Did you surpass the goal? And then for this year, what would you, if you were to put a goal together, what would it be? Like, do you put it in the form of units? Do you put it in the form of how many people you talk to? Like, how do you kind of document your goals?
I have goals for the number of transactions I close in a year. I have a goal for the gross volume, sales volume that I'll hit. And then I have a gross commission goal that I do every year. Last year, my goal was 24 closings to a month. And I figured that out based on a $350,000 sale, 3% commission. And then I wanted to do 8 million in sales last year, and hit 120,000 gross commission. And I surpassed all three. This year, my goal is 35 transactions, 280,000 gross commission, and 15 million in sales. Because I hit almost 11 million last year and 31 deals. So there's no reason. I inch it up a little bit each year, and I'm on track with first quarter, so that's really exciting. But I can't remember who taught me that years ago that those were the three things like you use to measure yourself out. And I have the numbers on how to figure that all out. He has the three goals as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We figured. Mm-hmm.
Nice. And
gotcha.
And moving forward, what would you say is kind of big picture, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road? Like, what do those goals look like? What do you guys hope to be accomplishing, the future versions of yourselves?
I want to start mentoring, at some point. I always liked doing that when I worked at the bank, training. So if I can help people in that way, I would love to. I have goals galore. So depends on what you want. I know as a team, because we have a joint business. This is a business, and we are both owners of the business. So together, in my mind, like easily we need to cruise 50 deals a year, easily. That should not be a problem for the two of us in one spring. After this year, I don't want to freak him out. But
it's putting a lot of pressure on me, man.
Yeah. 15 million, man, all you.
Yeah.
So how does that translate into daily activity though? Like if you did 8, or your goal was 8 last year and you got 11, and then this year you're gonna hit 15, hopefully surpass it. Mm-hmm. What do you have to, like, what is, when you wake up every day and you open up your computer and you start your day, like what do you have to do more transactions this year than last year?
Based on all of my numbers and math, my coach and I figured out this morning that I need to make sure I'm talking to 18 people a day.
I love it. See, I'm probably like Bryan in that way. I have to get super granular like that, so I know, like, how do I actually do this each year? Are you with like Buffini or anything like that when you talk about your coach?
I signed up with Tom Ferry.
Okay, gotcha. Awesome. So that's just talking to 18 people a day, whether it's brand new people, your circle, your sphere.
Yeah, I have which that's where when you look at like all of my numbers and everything, I think it was 19 of my deals last year came from referrals and Sphere.
Great.
So he was like, you know, it doesn't matter who I talk to. I just need to talk to 18 people a day because they refer me.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Gotcha. I have a kind of conceptual question, and I want to hear from both of you on this. Do you ever really arrive as a realtor? Like, even when you're hitting these goals and you hit, you know, this year you're going to hit 15 million, next year you're going to hit 30 and then 100, and you're just going to, but
yeah.
Do you ever really get to a place where you just have this contentment, like, I know I'm going to do just fine this year. I know, because you don't really know where that next deal is coming from, and you kind of have to be okay with that. And I've been having to get myself in that right headspace. Like, I have a background in banking too, just like Erika. And it's funny, 10 years too. 7 at Wells and 3 at Bank of the West. And everything was so like systematic there, and like the goals you had to hit, and you kind of knew exactly where your business was coming from. With being a loan officer and a realtor, it's really hard to know, even if you're doing all the right stuff, you just kind of don't know, you know, if and when that next deal will come in. So how do you navigate that mentally? And like, for someone who's brand new, do you ever really like are you always kind of on like pins and needles, like not quite sure, or do you ever get to a place where you're super comfortable?
I'm never comfortable. My personality is not, I just don't do that. I want change. So I don't care if I did wonderful last year, I'm still not comfortable. And it's not that I'm nervous about where my deals are coming from. It's just I always have high expectations and I want more.
Yeah.
But when I was in the ninja training early on, I was taught that what you focus on is what you get. So when you're living in a scarcity mindset and you are living deal to deal to deal and you're freaking about where your money's going to come from, that's what you're bringing into your life. So if you focus on having faith and focusing on an abundance mindset, there's more than enough business out there for all of us. And if you keep that in your mind, abundant, that will come back to you. They compared it to when you first buy a car, you know, and you're like, I don't know, a Tesla, Josh. Josh was buying a Tesla. When you buy a Tesla and then you're like, hey, there's a Tesla, you know, and you notice that's what when you start focusing on that, that's what you see. So if you focus like, hey, I see all the business, I see all the opportunity, there will be business and opportunity that come your way. You have to be careful when you're focusing so much on it's negative, not knowing where your next paycheck's going to come from. Living in that is really scary. And I get that, but you start making bad decisions when you're in that mindset. Especially on the real estate side. I don't know about on the lending side, but you start cutting your commission and losing sight of what your real worth is because you're so desperate for a paycheck. And then in turn, you're not looking out for your client's best interest. Because you're desperate to get that deal to close so you get paid. I'm desperate to get the deals closed to make sure my clients are taken care of. And I have to remember that just because I have something under contract doesn't mean it's going to close, and I need to be okay with that. What is their best interest?
Yeah. That's gold. That's gold. Yeah. Bryan, do you have anything to add on that one? I kind of want to hear from you on that question too. Hard to follow.
I know it's kind of hard to follow that. Can you repeat the question? That was a little long-winded.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was basically saying, do you ever arrive to like a place where you feel super content and are you always kind of on that super nervous, like, gotta find the next deal?
No, I mean, I am competitive, right? So when I see her, kicking butt and getting these deals after deals, I'm like, hey, I got to do that. But it's not like, I don't know, I know it's gonna come. If I just keep doing what I'm doing, it's they're gonna come to me eventually. I know I have to go out and put myself out there and try to get them. But no, I don't think you're ever content. At least for me, I'm not content. Like she said, I want more. So, but I know it's going to happen. So,
right. Yeah.
Brian,
I've
got one last question for you, and it just triggered when you said you're competitive. And I remember reading your bio that you played football. So, what was your position playing football?
In high school and college, I was a center, and then when I had some opportunities to, play in the arena league, I played I played some tackle. That never panned out, by the way. But I played semi-pro for 8 years almost.
Oh wow!
And I was majority of the time was a left tackle.
Nice.
So,
and obviously you're a Broncos fan, but where does the Texas Longhorns come from? Where's the connection with that?
So my dad was born and raised in Plainview, Texas, and just we always, I don't know, just growing up, I always liked their look. Their all white uniforms with the the Longhorn on the helmet. Like I just liked it. It was clean.
Yeah.
So I've just been.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, I've just been. I started watching them when I was young, and I was always interested in them. And then, when they won the national championship, was it 2003 with Vince Young? I became an even bigger fan. So I've been following them, closely ever since. Even was it 2 years ago? I finally got down to Austin to a game, which was amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's actually a pretty cool takeaway from this interview. Unis will win you loyalty. you start watching uniforms, basically. I'm trying to tell my nephews we're about to put them in private school. They're gonna have to wear uniforms. Like, hey, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Like, it actually could be a good thing. But uniforms wins loyalty. That's what we take away from
Yeah. I've always liked the Oregon, I guess, Ducks, because they always have, they're out there in Portland, right by the Nike headquarters. They always get all the cool stuff. They're always getting to try all the new stuff that no one else has. So they always have these crazy looking jerseys, and I've always noticed that at least. I don't know if it helps them win or anything, but
I wanted to ask though too. Do you guys have a relative that played at Kansas basketball?
So we probably get that once a week.
Do you?
Because it's a good question. It's the same last name.
Yeah.
But no. As far as I know, Zoe, I don't think we're related. As far as I know.
What I tell people is that we might be long lost second cousins or something,
Sure.
But yeah, our brother between us, he played in the NBA, and so, we get it a lot because that Azubuike that you're talking about is only the second Azubuike of all time. Because
really?
in the NBA. So everybody that knows us figures it's connected to us, but as far as we know, we're not related.
Okay.
And it was funny because when I went and looked him up one time, because I was getting that question. I don't follow college basketball as much as I'd like to. I don't have time. Yeah. But someone, I kept on getting asked that question, so I finally went and looked him up, and he does kind of resemble a little bit. So I was like, wait, are we related? So I had to ask my mom and do some research. But as far as
maybe way back, maybe a few lines back,
They do say Azubuike is a bit more common.
Is it?
In Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a super rare name or anything. So
okay.
We're from a very, very large tribe. It's an Igbo tribe is the name of the tribe. It's IGBO, Igbo. And so there's a ton of, huge family with that. So as far as like tribe, yes, we're related. You know what I mean? But but we don't know if we're actually blood related.
Right.
And whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess if you go back to tribes, there is a blood connection somewhere. So however you want to chalk it up.
How far back, you don't know. Yeah.
Again, this is a history lesson. It's not about real estate. This is a podcast about history. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you guys have been incredible. I think we're almost right at an hour. Perfect.
Yeah.
I took a lot of notes for sure.
Me too.
And I just feel like you guys are awesome. You're great to know. You guys are just so fun to be around and talk to, and so easy to talk to.
Thank you.
You guys are incredible realtors. And Bryan, I know you're going to end up just crushing it, and I know that you're going to be right there with Erika, and you guys are going to be like neck and neck every year, which is exciting. But we don't have.
Erika's like, no, not
She's like, no. There you go.
She's like, I'm gonna be up here.
Yeah. As Jen's doing that whole thing, she's kind of like,
Hey, you noticed she leaned back when she did it too?
Yeah.
So Bryan wouldn't see it.
Yeah, I see everything. I see everything.
Awesome.
I love it. But I don't think we have anybody. There's like a few people on. I don't know if they can ask questions or not. We'll probably just disconnect, right, Zoe?
Yeah, and everyone
can
ask questions in the group.
Did you tag us? If they want to if anybody wants to reach out, like more specifically, we're happy to help. If there's any newbies or anything.
Yeah, Jay. Once you end it, I think you can tag all of us, and it'll post, repost to your page.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it
share
everywhere. Yeah. Share it, post it, repost it. You guys share it.
All right.
This has been good.
Hashtag Staggs real estate.
Yeah. Hashtag genetics, right?
Hashtag history lesson. Yep. Everything.
All of it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. It was great. Let's do this again soon.
All right. Sounds good.
You guys were awesome. Thank you.
All right. Nice meeting you, Zoe.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
Have a great day, guys.
You too.
All right.
Bye.